right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the day of giving here for IU Athletics and Hoosiers Connect. I'm Galen Clavio. I am joined by Jared Morris over there from the Assembly Call. We got Austin Render, the voice of IU women's basketball and IU baseball. And we got Kara Adams, who will be doing sideline for this week's NCAA tournament first round game for IU men's soccer as they take on Lipscomb. We are thrilled to have you folks joining us for our fourth of 5 live segments throughout the course of the day. We have a full hour of soccer talk coming up. We've got Zoe Tiger and Sid Mazer from the women's soccer team who made it back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in a decade this season. We've got JT Harms and Patrick McDonald from the men's soccer team who just won the double and will be in the NCAA tournament starting this week. Jared, we've had a tremendous day so far of content. So many awesome interviews. If you folks missed any of them, you can go back and watch on either the Back Home Network YouTube channel or on the Hoosiers Connect YouTube channel. We've got interviews with Philip Bleedy and Aaron Casey from football. We've got interviews with Cam Hayworth and Ramsey Gary from volleyball, along with head coach Steve Aird. We had interviews at the beginning of the day with Xavier Johnson and Trey Galloway from men's basketball. And the donations have been pouring in, Jared. Give us an update.
Galen, we are at $297,513 as of this moment right now. Just had a $100 donation come in, a $200 donation come in. They have been rolling ever since the content started.
It's been great. It's been tremendous to watch the generosity of all of you IU fans out there. And that's what this day of giving is about. You know, the NIL is so important in the college landscape. You've heard us talk about it a bunch today. You're going to hear talk about it more. And it's not just big businesses. It's not just corporations. It's also individual donors. And we've seen people give as little as $5. We've seen people give as much as $100,000. It's been all over the place, and it's been incredible watching IU fans rally to try to keep IU at the forefront of name, image, and likeness. We're going to be taking donations throughout the course of this, and all of your donations are matched 100% today and all the way through the end of the year. But today's the day we want to see the donations. Today's the day we're working towards as high of a goal as we can possibly get to. So please, folks, think about it. Go to inforindiana.com. We'll have the graphic overlay up here shortly that'll give that indication to you where you need to go. I'm going to get out of here. I want to get our women's and men's soccer players on screen and let you hear from them because they're a lot better to hear from than me. So let's go ahead and bring everybody in. We're going to get a little Brady Bunch-ish here. That's perfect. I'm going to get off screen. Let's hear these people talk. Stick with us, folks. And folks, welcome. Love to have you here. Thanks for joining us on the show.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. We're so excited that you guys are here. I guess to go ahead and get started, I'm going to go to you first, Sid. I want to talk to you about your experience reaching the NCAA tournament this season. You guys had such a good season and turnaround compared to last season. What kind of helped shape that and what went into that?
Yeah, I think we had a lot of motivation coming off of last season. I mean, it's hard to have a tough season like that, but it's just part of the game. And I think our coaches and our coaching staff did a great job to kind of use it as motivation for this season. I think that was something we really thrived off of and kept us going. And we worked all spring as a unit. We had great players coming in, great freshmen that really helped us out a lot. So I think it was a lot of pieces that just needed to be put together. And I think making the NCAA tournament was a huge step up and just shows that our program's going in the right direction.
Zoe, what was kind of your experience like that, making your first ever NCAA tournament?
I definitely agree with what Sid said in terms of pieces all coming together and getting the right people and finally having a good fit. And like she said as well, going off of a hard season like last year, we saw what the bottom felt like and we didn't want to be there again. And so we all came together and just set standards and all had the right mindset of okay, we don't want to feel like that anymore. We want to be up here. We want to have a winning season or a better season. And we also focus on just little steps and tackling those little steps. And we didn't really get too far over our heads right away. We knew it was going to be difficult to, I don't want to say do better, but just make the steps to go into a better direction. And we knew that we had to stay humble and, again, just focus on one game at a time, one day at a time, one practice at a time, and paid off.
And Sydney, I know when I talked to Coach Van Bennekom earlier this year, he mentioned that you guys used the preseason poll as a motivator for where the rest of the conference saw you guys. How much truly was that kind of the cliche bulletin board material for you guys as you went through the season?
Yeah, it helped a lot, honestly. I mean, I remember walking into practice one day in August, and we had like 5 or 6 posters put up of just like the rankings, and we're dead last, like literally ranked 14 out of 14. So Erwin really liked to use it as motivation. I mean, we saw it every single day walking in for the next 3 months. And I think it was just a reminder of like where people think we should be, but we know, we have that underdog mentality. And I think that was like a theme we used throughout the season. Even when we were doing well, we would still look up and remember where everyone else thought we should be. So yeah, we used it as a good motivator. It's probably still hanging up in our locker room. And I think other teams thinking that we're going to come in last and then coming in 5th place wasn't too bad. So yeah, definitely use it as good motivation.
And Zoe, how gratifying is it to see your name at the bottom of that list preseason and then to beat so many of those teams above you on that list?
It was a great feeling. Obviously, no one really had faith in us. And I mean, I don't really blame them based off of how we did last year. But again, like just saying it earlier, like all of the pieces just fell into place. And once we had all those pieces, like it just went from there. We all knew our abilities and we all knew that we had so much talent. And it was just like, how can we use this to actually prove to everyone and show everyone like we are a good team and we deserve to not be last. And yeah, we made it happen. So
guys, I want to jump in here real quick. We have breaking news. We just got another $100,000 donation, an anonymous donation that bumps us up to over $397,000. And what's really cool, you look at the recent donations. You've got one for $100,000, which of course gets matched, so it's really $200,000. And then you got Michael's for $25, which is going to get matched and turn into $50. And that's what's great about this and what Hoosiers Connect is doing is all the donations, no matter how small, no matter how big, they're all meaningful. They all go to the same place. They're all getting matched. And so whatever you can give, whatever you can, offer up to support, it all really matters. But obviously, thank you to whoever stepped up with the $100,000 donation as we get ever closer to the goal. So sorry, back to the discussion. Just wanted to pop in and add that note.
That's incredible news, Jared. Thanks for popping in. I love the sound effect as well. That felt necessary. It's a big day, and we love that. And that's one of the misconceptions, I think, is that you've got to be like a business to be a part of this NIL movement. But that's not true. You can go and you can donate yourself or as a family and go be a part of this. Let's bring in JT Harms and Patrick McDonald, who are with us as well. You guys are planning and preparing for an NCAA tournament this week. Let's go back to last week. You guys pull off the double. What's that feeling like when that clock hits 0 against Penn State? You see the fans rush the field, just an awesome atmosphere. Kind of take me through that game.
Yeah, I can go ahead, Pat. No, it was incredible. I mean, that's a moment we'll never forget for the rest of our lives, to be at home in front of our own fans and, with the people we love so much, and to share that moment. It was truly incredible. And that's something that's kind of planted in our heads from the beginning of the season. It's, we either want to host an Elite Eight game at home or a Big Ten championship game. And so, on decision day, when, we had the big win against Rutgers, some other results went our way, to see that we were the 1 seed, all eyes were immediately on the championship game, and we got to take care of business on a Friday and a Wednesday to get there. And so when we got to that final day, it was, it was written in the stars. We knew that we'd done the work, we were prepared, and it just gives us more momentum going into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, to add to JT, I think the biggest thing I felt was the past 2 years, we've lost the Big Ten regular season on the final day, and we've lost the Big Ten tournament on the final day. And to finally complete the double, and when we had the opportunity, just like the past years, it was the best feeling I've had in a long time. And especially the one versus Rutgers, because it was the regular season and we knew we had to have the results come our way from the rest of the conference. that was a huge feeling. And I think personally for me, that was even better than the Big Ten tournament, because we knew in the Big Ten tournament we were going to take care of business, and we were confident the whole way. And we never looked back. Once we started, we beat Wisconsin, beat Michigan. We knew we were going to beat Penn State, and we were really thrilled after that.
Patrick, I'll go back to you on this one. You guys kind of had struggled a little bit early on in the season with scoring and stuff, but you really turned your season around when you guys got that first Big Ten win against Penn State in regular season. Kind of what is it about this group and this team especially that you guys were able to do that, and now look where you are now?
Yeah, we did have a little rocky start, but not uncommon to the past 2 seasons. We had that as well. And I think this year a big part of it was obviously finally finding the goals, but Hugo Backrack moving into the midfield really changed the dynamic of our team and the way we were able to play. And I think that's one thing a lot of people don't see that helped us so much. And other than that, we knew we were a good team, and we struggled to find the results early. And I think that kind of added some fuel to the fire. Like, okay, let's prove all these people in the Big Ten wrong. You know, they're counting us out. They don't expect us to win. And to end the season with, I think it was maybe 8 wins in 9 games, that it was 9 wins out of 10 actually. And that just gave us a ton of motivation. And even moving into the postseason, we knew no one's going to stop us now.
It's certainly an impressive stretch that you guys are on, and now you're getting ready for another NCAA tournament at 37 consecutive NCAA tournaments. I know that doesn't include your guys. Like, you guys don't go all the way back 37 years, but what does that mean to be a part of such a historic stretch for your program?
Yeah, I mean, IU men's soccer is referred to as a tradition of excellence, and we fully believe that. And there's a standard we have to uphold. We feel that with all of our alums, with the people involved in the program, that it's up to us to carry the torch. And winning's in the culture. This is the standard. So for us, it's just another opportunity to get the 9th star. And we were so close at the end last year, and that's still on our minds. So we know that going into this NCAA tournament, we have an opportunity to call it a revenge tour again, and get back to the final, and a little bit closer to home this year in Louisville. So we're positive that we can get some fans hopefully to the College Cup and make another memory this season.
JT, going back to you, kind of, you transferred here, obviously. What has it meant to you to transfer to this program and represent Indiana, a school that has so much history with NCAA championships and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a huge cultural shock for me, coming from a great program at Duke. I was open to the landscape of Division I soccer and the ACC, which is a great competition. But we fell short at Duke, and we played in the ACC championship and lost. And we finished towards the top of the ACC in my 2 seasons there. But then coming to IU, I was quick to find out that that's not the standard, and that's not going to be remembered. So for me, I remember my first session here at Indiana, Coach Yeagley telling us that losing a Big Ten championship and making a Sweet 16 exit in the NCAA tournament is not okay for our standards. And so being in the locker room, guys talking about how we have the belief to go to a national championship game. I mean, it's bred in us. It's that's the standard. And we had full belief. I mean, even when we had a rocky start to the season this year, we had full belief the whole time that things are going to click. It takes time. It's a process. The season isn't won in 3 weeks. And now we're firing on all cylinders. And so I think going into this NCAA tournament, fans should be excited, and hopefully we can, keep the ball rolling.
Let's bring Zoe and Sid back in here, and let's talk, obviously, this whole day, a lot about NIL. We'll start with you, Sydney. What has that kind of been like for you over the past couple of years with this introduction to NIL, and how have you gotten involved and kind of seen it impact you?
Yeah, well, I think it's great. I think it's given especially female athletes a platform that we never had before. I also really think it's given Indiana like a great competitive advantage, especially when it comes to recruiting. IU has given us so many different options when it comes to NIL. Like, we have meetings about it. We are given so many opportunities through social media, through our coaches. So I think it's given us a lot to build our brand. I think in the past, this has never even been like an option for us, especially as female athletes. And I think being able to just promote our sport and what we love is just something that we won't take for granted, especially with organizations like Hoosiers Connect. I think it's doing a lot of great for women's sports.
And Zoe, this wasn't something that even existed when you started kind of the recruiting process to Indiana, and now here we are in 2023. How have you seen everything change over the past few years?
Well, I was definitely surprised when it became available here at IU. I don't want to say I was taken aback by it, but I was kind of like, wow, like this is actually happening. Like this is going to be a great opportunity, not only for women, but also like all athletes here at IU. And again, like what Sid said, it's been a great opportunity for everyone. And it's just built a platform for athletes here at IU. And I think it's a great step in terms of recruiting and just getting your name out there and like doing something for yourself, for people you're working with and other organizations like that. So I definitely love seeing it, and I'm happy we finally have the option to be able to do it and do something with it.
And I guess we'll stay with you, Zoe, on this. A lot of this is about kind of showcasing your brand or your own personality. How would you describe your brand? What is it that you want Hoosier Nation to know about you?
I mean, I guess one thing that my teammates know about it, but not really a lot of other people know about it. I'm a very like artistic person. I'm majoring in interior design here, and art is a huge passion of mine. And I feel like a lot of people don't really see that because I do play soccer. Like a lot of people associate me with being an athlete. So definitely having that as part of my brand and like as part of my identity along with soccer, like that would definitely be something that I would like more people to know. And NIL is a great opportunity for me to start showcasing that part of me and let other people know that I'm more than just a soccer player and that I have other sides to me as well.
Absolutely. Sydney, what would you say is your brand, or how would you kind of showcase yourself?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not very artistic. I wish I could say that, but yeah, Zoe's great artist. I've seen her work. But I would probably say, well, I'm very like family oriented, and community means a lot to me. Even like coming back from Jersey, I basically feel like I built my foundation on my community and my hometown there, and I think that's something I've been able to find here in Bloomington. It really resonates with me, just giving back to the community. I know our team did a lot of stuff last year with cutters, and I think that's something that I would like to tap into in the NIL space, just being able to work with aspiring athletes and give back to my community a little bit.
Well, kind of transitioning back to the boys, Patrick, I'll go to you first. I know you're Hoosier for Good. You work with the Bloomington Health Foundation. What's kind of been one of your favorite moments or memory working with them, or can you talk about your experience with them?
Yeah, the Bloomington Health Foundation has been great because I'm a huge advocate for giving back to the community I'm from North Carolina, and with the club I played for, Fusion, they were huge on giving back to the community. We did stuff almost once a week with underprivileged kids or kids trying to learn soccer, and it's very similar to what the Bloomington Health Foundation does. They're kind of the middleman between athletes and the charities. So they set up the events, and myself and a couple of baseball players who are also with Bloomington Health Foundation, we go work them, and they're great because it gives us an opportunity to bond with the community and a bunch of kids who are aspiring athletes and who want to make a difference in the community. And I think that's one of the best things that NIL has given us a platform to do is give back, because we've been given so much as athletes, and it gives us a great platform to help others and give back. And that's probably my favorite part about it.
Mm-hmm. And JT, you work with the People and Animal Learning Services. Can you talk about your experience with that?
Yeah, no, it's been an incredible experience. I was partnered with them through Hoosiers for Good, and that was an incredible experience thanks to NIL, because my older sister growing up had multiple physical disabilities and development disabilities. So for her, PALS therapy, hippotherapy, which is a form of therapy using horseback riding, was a part of her childhood and was a big step for her to start making steps towards reintegrating back into school and being, just a normal kid again. So for me to get that opportunity, that's something that I wouldn't have known about in Bloomington if it wasn't for Hoosiers for Good setting me up with that. So being able to get in contact with them and to work with them on different events has been amazing, just because it's so personal to me. And then recently my teammate and I, Jack Wagner, we worked the Halloween event, and it was incredible to see the community come out and support the cause. Out at the stables, all the horses were dressed up. Kids were all dressed up in their Halloween outfits. So it was awesome. It was truly an incredible experience, and it's cool that we can show the community that that's out there and that's something that they can get involved with as well.
You mentioned the community aspect. How important is it playing soccer for a school that has such a big community behind it, and like so many Bloomington families go to soccer games? What's that kind of meant to you?
Yeah, it means everything. I honestly didn't know that this world was out there. Entering college soccer, it's not, you don't get the same media attention that basketball or football does, right? That's obvious, but I didn't know how much it could mean to a school. And so to come to Indiana from Duke and playing in the ACC, it was eye-opening. And, at the end of the day, it's a bigger pond and there's more eyes on you. And so I'm very grateful to have this platform, but now that I have it, it's awesome to be able to get involved with different causes and to give back to the community and, be recognized and to spread the word and, bring people along with you.
One of our favorite questions that we've seen this morning or throughout the day, I guess we're nowhere near the morning at this point, but has been, what would be like a dream NIL partnership for you that would really match your personality, something that you would love to partner up with, like Aaron Casey, whose nickname is Ace at Ace Hardware, because that would just be a perfect match there. We'll start with the ladies. Sydney, is there one that stands out to you like a dream NIL partnership?
Yeah, I think some of my teammates, especially my roommates, know I'm lactose intolerant and I'm allergic to nuts, and everyone always makes fun of me for it. So every night for dessert, I eat Oatly ice cream. I don't know if you guys know about it. Definitely try it if you haven't tried it. It's so good. Every night I eat it. Oatly would be great. If they're out there, if they're listening, you guys should sponsor me. I'm probably your biggest fan. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get made fun of for saying that, but totally Oatly.
This is a safe space. You're okay. we like that idea. Zoe, follow that up. What's an NIL partnership that would be kind of the dream partnership for you?
I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it either, but there's this organization called Blick Art Materials, and they sell all things art related under the sun. And that was probably one of the first organizations that I heard of in terms of selling art materials and things like that. I grew up with it, especially throughout high school. We use a lot of materials from them, and it's great quality, and I absolutely love everything that they have. So if I could get something with them, that would probably be really awesome.
What kind of art do you make or do you work on, and what's kind of been some of the favorite stuff you've put together?
It kind of all depends. Honestly, I've had a wide range of things that I have done. I've dabbled in ceramics, painting, drawing, photography. Honestly, anything. As of right now, I mainly do paintings and just like other things involving painting, whether that's with glassware, canvas, watercolor, whatever it may be. I'm definitely trying to broaden my horizons a little bit and also up my skill set in some of the things like pottery, especially in photography. But definitely drawing and painting would probably be the main things that I do right now.
Very cool. Let's transition back to the guys. We'll start with Patrick. What would be a dream NIL partnership for you and your personality?
I hadn't really thought about it till now, but you mentioned Aaron Casey with Ace Hardware, and I kind of thought to myself, well, maybe with McDonald's, and
there you go.
That'd be pretty cool to have a deal with them and see what McDonald's is all about, just behind the great food.
That sounds like a slam dunk. Yeah. Patrick McDonald with McDonald's. I like that.
Cameron
JT,
Hayward.
what your best for last here? What's your dream NIL partnership?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a dream, but it's funny Pat said that because I feel like if I make a save in a game, every commentator takes the alley-oop and says out of harm's way. So if we're going to commit to that, I think it should be like an insurance company or Allstate. We just commit to it.
That's perfect. I like that. He's just leaning right into it. Perfect.
All right, I got to jump back in here. We just hit $400,000 in donations. And it's a bunch of smaller ones coming in. Well, we had a $500 donation. That's huge. Andrew with 50, an anonymous donation of 5. Marissa, who I actually went to high school with 50. Nate with 120. So you can see all these different sizes of donations coming in. They are all going to be matched. Keep them coming. We are getting closer and closer to that $100 million or that $1 million total, all of which is going to be matched. Let me transition here. JT, I wanted to ask you a question real quick. I happened to see a conversation that you had, and I think it was on the Hoosier Barber Talk TikTok channel, if I'm getting that right. But you were telling the story about your mom, and you kind of started talking earlier about some of the challenges that your older sister faced. And, you told the story about your mom, and I'd love to have you tell that now. And as a parent myself, listening to you and the way that you talked about your mom and your admiration for her was, it's one of those things as a parent, you kind of listen and you get a little bit choked up. And I just thought it was great. So if you could relay that and just what your mom has meant to you and your family and your athletic career, I think everybody would love to hear that.
No, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, so for me, I'm in a family of, it's 5 of us, my mom, dad, and then 2 sisters. And so my older sister, obviously she came before me, and she brought her own set of challenges into the world. She was born premature, given minutes at birth. So, for us and, the way our family was built, every minute was a blessing after that. And that's the kind of way that I was raised and we approach it. And so for her, she's 26 now. She's overcome so much through physical disabilities, mental disabilities. And now she's got an education. She's gone off into the world. She's now working and giving back as a paraprofessional in a local elementary school, helping other children with disabilities. So for me, she taught me that, whatever you want to do in life, whatever's been thrown at you, you can achieve it if you're going to commit to it. So seeing my mother raise her and, help her get the treatment that she needs. I mean, at this point, she's had I think it's up to over 30 some surgeries at this point in her lifetime. So she's been through a lot. And so I really don't have an excuse. And so, I came around and, growing up, did everything under the sun. And then my mom decided 4 years after I was born that she wanted another challenge. So she decided she's going to adopt. And so I met my younger sister when I was 4 years old in Guatemala for the first time. And so we brought her home, and yeah, that's been its own set of challenges. I think, adoption's been the most amazing thing in my life. But it's its own set of challenges, and I don't think people see that from the outside. So growing up with that, it really opened my eyes to how fortunate I am to be able to do what I love, just to be able to run, and go out on the field and kick a ball around for 90 minutes. Are you kidding me? So, I've lived my life that way, to take every opportunity that I can. And, now that I'm in this position and am able to reflect, I don't know how she did it, and I don't know how she still does it, but yeah, I'm blessed.
Oh, thank you, JT, for that. Well, kind of just to wrap things up, I want to ask each of you all this question. I'll start with Patrick. I'll go to you first. What has been your favorite moments this season so far? Good
question. I think it's kind of out there already. I think it's got to be winning the double, because it's the first time in a few years we've done it. And to do it at home, especially like JT mentioned earlier, that's something we'll never forget. And to have that big of a crowd to witness that and to celebrate with them, I think it's definitely the highlight of the season so far.
Yeah. JT, favorite moment so far?
Patrick took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, I mean, that was when the clock hit 0. I'll be honest, I blacked out for about like 5 minutes. So I don't remember too much of it, but I mean, it was special.
Sydney, I'll go to you first. What was your favorite memory or moment from your season?
I think I'll have to go with beating Rutgers, our first Big Ten win, because we scored with like 4 minutes left, and I'm from Jersey. We haven't beat them yet all 3 years, so it was a little bit of revenge. Felt nice, and it was like a great way to start our Big Ten season.
Zoe, wrap it up for us. Favorite memory?
Honestly, probably hearing our name that we made it into the NCAAs. Obviously, that's the first time we've done it in 10 years and first time for me. And we've worked so hard as a team, and we all know like how last season went, and like that was never on the table for us. And so like this year to finally hear it and just know that like all of the hard work that we put in like finally paid off, and that we again showed everyone that we're here to play and we deserve to be here. So that was probably my favorite memory of the season.
You know they're team players because they both scored their first career goals this season, and neither one of them pointed out that moment. They're both going with the team, so we love that. But congrats on those goals, and congrats on all the success you guys have had all season long. Both teams, the women's team making their first tournament in 10 years. The men's team is off to another NCAA tournament after winning the double. It has been a ton of fun to watch you guys all year long.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Yep,
We
thank you.
appreciate you guys all coming over. I think we're going to hand it off. I see Dr. GC has joined what's now the Octobox.
The Octobox, absolutely. You know, but Patrick, JT, Sid, Zoe, thanks so much, not just for joining us today, but for everything that you folks have done this whole season. It's been an awesome ride for both IU women's soccer and IU men's soccer. Guys, we're looking forward to seeing you in the tournament here in a couple of days. And ladies, we wish you the best in the off season and looking forward to an even better season next year. So thank you all for joining us once again.
Thank you for having us. Thank
you
you.
guys.
We'll keep it here as we let those folks. We're gonna bring them off here and let them get on with their evenings, and we'll stick around for a couple of minutes. And first of all, guys, great job on the interview. That was awesome. Some updates. We just hit our 400th donor of the day, and just the generosity is staggering. We have been blown away by Hoosier Nation showing up. $400,731 right now in the hopper. That is all being matched. So it's really $800,000 that has gone to Indiana University NIL through Hoosiers Connect. I wanted to just read off some of the names of the people who have donated here over the last hour or so. We had an anonymous donation that was made in honor of Jim McClellan. We had a donation from Nate Ebel. We had a donation from Marissa Indelicato. We appreciate that. We had a donation from Andrew Keenley from the Assembly Call community. We appreciate that, Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah, Jeffrey Yoder with the big donation. Caleb Porter. I don't know if that's the Caleb Porter, but it might very well be. Caleb, if so, we appreciate it. We had Michael Boivenu, I believe, contributing. Benjamin Londergren, Lisa Mannheim, who's a parent of two Hoosiers, one from class of 21, one class of 2027. That's awesome. Love to see that. Bradley Miller donating. We appreciate that. Jeremy Carter, Dennis Welch, Richard Tobin, David Zahn, Dave Fowler, Tom Hunt, Susan Sheisley, Megan Larkin donating specifically for IU field hockey. We love to see that. Just so much generosity from all you folks out there in Hoosier Nation. We knew that was the case. We didn't need something like this to let us know that Hoosier Nation was generous and wanted to donate, but it's awesome to see.
Not to mention, Galen, the one that just came in, George Carlin, donated $53.
Okay.
So don't know if it's the George Carlin, but George Carlin donated.
What a trick if it's the George Carlin, given his current status.
Yeah, yes.
Awesome. Go ahead.
You're telling me that there are people attending the Indiana University that are in the class of 2027. You're making me feel really, really old.
Austin,
imagine how we feel, Austin.
Yeah, you got a bad future coming if that's going to make you feel bad at this point. No, but Kara, I wanted to talk to you about this a little bit. I mean, you've had a chance to cover both of these soccer teams throughout the course of the year. I mean, first of all, it's men's soccer has built such a tremendous basis for this program, and it is, as I've always said, it's the program that loves you back all the time at IU. I mean, it's championship after championship. But to watch the women's program really kind of lay the foundation this year, it feels like, for a lot of great things to come. I mean, the energy around these two programs as you've been covering it and watching fans react, what's that been like the course of the season?
It's been very special, especially for women's soccer, just to see how much they improved from last season to this season. Just, it was a total change of season, and you could just tell, just even after just talking to Zoe and Sid, how much work they put into the off season. And it's a sport that I think doesn't get as much credit, but women's soccer is growing, and teams like UCLA and those schools out west are huge in the world of women's soccer. And even the Big Ten itself, their conference is so hard. And so for them to have such a good season and such a hard conference and truly bounce back after being last in the Big Ten is just incredible to watch. And then on the men's side, even for them, they didn't win a Big Ten game until October, if I'm correct. And that was when they finally beat Penn State. And just to kind of turn their season around mid-season was also just impressive. And those changes, how Patrick mentioned, moving Hugo into the midfield, but even just kind of sticking together as a team, just seeing their camaraderie on the sidelines. Like they always had confidence in each other, and they never doubted for a second that they couldn't be in those big games. And now here they are, and it's paying off.
The women's sports movement at IU here in 2023 has been incredible. I mean, go all the way back to the winter and the spring with women's basketball and what they accomplished with the Big Ten title, and softball going to the NCAA tournament. And now here in the fall with women's soccer getting to the NCAA tournament. Volleyball has sold out Wilkinson Hall several times. They're making a push for the NCAA tournament. It is a ton of fun to watch these teams grow and evolve into kind of the monsters that they are turning into.
I think also, to add on to that, it's very almost heartwarming to see so many people around the Bloomington community and on campus going to games to support women's volleyball and women's soccer. Like, they're not just going to the men's games or men's basketball. People want to be at volleyball games. They want to help sell out Wilkinson Hall, and they want to help go to women's soccer games. And so just seeing that energy and spark around women's sports on campus is huge and really cool to see.
And something that head coach Steve Aird of volleyball brought up earlier today that I think is really important to keep in mind with NIL specifically. You got these West Coast teams coming in next year. You've got USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon. These, especially in volleyball, but also in women's soccer, also in men's soccer. These are some of the premier programs in the country. It's going to get exponentially harder. You're going to have more opportunities in recruiting, but it's going to be harder because you've got 4 top-level programs joining the Big Ten in all of these sports that we're talking about. And it's paramount that Indiana have the arsenal of NIL available to go toe-to-toe with these programs and be a serious player. It's hard for a lot of fans to get their heads wrapped around because it just really hasn't been a reality until very recently. But it's so important for IU athletics that they have the war chest and they have the reputation of saying this is a place that whether you're a high school recruit or a transfer, NIL is taken seriously. You're going to have opportunities because for certain the California schools are going to have that. For certain the Pacific Northwest schools are going to have that.
Well, and Galen, one thing that's great about this fundraiser and what Hoosiers Connect is doing is the ability they give you to designate your donation for a specific sport. As you mentioned earlier, someone designated it for field hockey. So if there is a specific sport that you want to support with your donation, you can do that. And that's a nice option to have.
Austin, did you have something you were going to?
No, he took it out of my mouth. So
sorry, Austin.
That was perfect.
Couple new donations just came in. Charlie Trailer, $500. Win IU another natty, he says. I'm assuming he's talking about men's soccer. We're on board with that. Kevin Wayne Betts, $250 donation. Thank you so much. Thank you. We haven't thanked our first donation was Jameson Rosado, $5,000. That was at the very beginning of things. Thank you, Jameson, for that. Darren Ficklin with the donation. We really appreciate all of the generosity. 411 donors now. We've added 11 donors since I said 400 donors like 10 minutes ago. We're up to $402,026 donated throughout the course of the day. Kara, you and I were down at the Cuban Center at 9:00 this morning. We looked at the tally. There were $38,000 donated at that point. I mean, it's just been an explosion throughout the course of the day. We're really, really excited about this. Before we wrap this segment up, let me go around the room here a little bit and Austin, let me start with you. You're calling women's basketball games. We saw the excitement really kind of settle in the last couple of years with IU women's basketball as far as the crowds getting involved and the place is getting 8, 9, 10,000 people a game regularly. As we're going to have women's basketball coming on later, head coach Terry Morin going to be joining us at 7:30. Sydney Parrish and Mackenzie Holmes going to be joining us at about 7:45. As fans are looking at this team and thinking about where they're at with things, obviously a little bit of a rough outcome this weekend, but this is still a solid ranked team that's got a lot going for it as we move forward. What's the level of excitement feel like for you as far as calling these games and seeing the fans getting excited with this team and just kind of the arc of that over the course of the last several years?
I always tell people you don't need to listen to me because it's more fun when you're at the game. It's just more fun when there's more people at the game. And I try to convey that to my parents. They don't exactly listen to me, but it really has been incredible. Even exhibition game had over 7,000 people there. I mean, that's 3,000 more than the average attendance 2 seasons ago for an exhibition game. The way that I would walk around this summer in Bloomington and people would just be talking about Indiana women's basketball. And that's where we're at with this program, is that it is a conversation starter. It's a water cooler conversation. That's where we're at. And that is so cool to me to just in the everyday world, just bump into somebody who says, man, I'm a huge Indiana women's basketball fan. I did a presentation with a group a few weeks ago and kind of dove into the history of Indiana women's basketball. And it was not more than 15 years ago where their average attendance was under 2,000. For Big Ten games, they were happy to get into that kind of 2,000 attendance. And the way that this Bloomington community has come around Terry Morin and this program and players like Allie Patberg and Grace Berger and Mackenzie Holmes, and the way those players, and we'll talk about it with them later tonight, the way they give back to the community and they stick around, they sign autographs, and they're very relatable. They want to chat with these young girls who are at the games, and they look up to these players. And it's just been super cool to see that transformation over even just in the 3 years that I've been doing this.
Kara, we talked about, you're going to be covering IU men's soccer this Thursday. I've always said one of the hidden gems of IU fandom is going to postseason soccer games. You've gotten a chance now to see a couple of them covering them the sidelines. What's the energy been like at Bill Armstrong Stadium for these games?
The energy is almost inexplainable. It is crazy to be there working a game. I remember on Sunday I was covering the game for IUS TV Sports. It was 20 minutes into the first half. You could not find a seat in the bleachers. The whole Hoosier Army was packed. They had even filled it in closest to the goal on one of the sides of the field. And there were still people walking in. I remember turning around and being there's still people coming. People are just standing around the fences. It's so special and it's so incredible just to be a part of that. And then you can just tell how much students want to be there and how much they want to support this team and how much just faith they have in this team. They know this team can go as far as they're capable of, and they control their own destiny. And it's very special and cool to be a part of that. And just to be on the field filming and shooting when the whole student section is storming the field was crazy. A little scary at one point because I was with my camera, but it was really cool to be a part of.
You brought the equipment back unharmed. We always appreciate that. Jared, you and I were in school here in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I always tell my students now, this is the one of the latest golden age of IU athletics. There are so many programs that are competing at incredibly high levels, not just men's soccer, women's soccer, who we've talked with today. Obviously swimming and diving is always at the top of their game, but women's basketball, when we were here, was just not a program that had a whole lot of success. Baseball was not a program that had a whole lot of success. Softball, same thing. It is remarkable to me how much success IU athletics is having right now, and the level of support that they deserve, really. It's something that I'm so elated to see all the success of this NIL fund drive today, because it really is giving these athletes the support that they really have earned over the course of the last several years.
No doubt. It's great to see the success of those programs. And it's great to see how they're being embraced by Indiana fans. And the reason for that, I mean, I thought Austin hit on it. The women's basketball team in particular, and I think this is indicative of a lot of these other programs. There's just a sense of gratitude and appreciation for what they have and where they are, a sense of camaraderie and teamwork in terms of how they go about their business, that I think Indiana fans really relate with. I've said this several times. I mean, Galen, my favorite basketball team of all time is the 92-93 Indiana men's basketball team. Grew up, I was like 12 years old. They were all my heroes. I haven't felt watching a basketball team like I did then until watching last year's Indiana women's team, because of the style of play, the number of all-time greats that were on the team, and just the teamwork and the cohesion that they had. And when you give Indiana fans that kind of feeling when they watch you play, they embrace you and they come back, and so everything that's being built, volleyball, women's basketball, all these sports, they're doing it brick by brick, they're doing it the right way, and creating these emotional bonds with young fans that keep people engaged, moving on beyond that. And I think that's so important. And that's part of what NIL can do, is give fans an even greater sense of ownership over the teams, because you feel like, hey, I'm contributing, I'm doing something that matters in addition to just cheering. And I think that is a healthy thing overall for the relationship between fan and school and team.
And that's, to me, I think one of the beautiful things about NIL now is that you can have a direct contribution or relationship with the team, with individual athletes, and you get a chance to hear from those athletes. I think the thing I've enjoyed the most today is, alongside the fans donating, but hearing from all these athletes directly and hearing their stories and getting a chance to learn about them and finding out that one of them's got an allergy to nuts, and another one is yeah, I mean, there's so many cool little stories that sometimes get lost in the shuffle, or you don't hear about at all. And we're in an era where you can hear about those things. You can hear about those things on social media. You can hear about them through NIL. Anyway, we're going to wrap up this segment, and we're going to take a little bit of a break. A couple of quick programming notes. First of all, we have a pre-taped interview that we wanted to bring you all, and we're actually going to drop that at about 7:05. So for those of you who are watching right now, we're going to have that interview. Jalen Lucas and Matthew Bedford from IU football talked with our Kylie Corman and Mason Williams. About a 20-minute segment. It's really cool. I think you're going to enjoy that. So tune back in. We'll launch the stream a little early, and we'll play that. We'll have a little bit of a break, and then we'll get into our interview with Terry Morin, and then with Sydney Parrish and with Mackenzie Holmes. We've got Miller Kopp also joining us around, I think, 8:15, 8:30, somewhere in that range. So we've got a packed 7:30 to 9 o'clock block. Austin's going to come back and join us. Jared and I will be here. We're going to cut Kara loose finally. Kara's had a full day.
It's a long day.
She was here at 9:30 this morning interviewing Xavier and Trey, and she was there for Cameron and Ramsey's interview as well. Kara, you've done an awesome job today. We really appreciate everything.
Thank you. I'm so happy I got to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go.
There we go, Jared.
Quick update before we wrap up. We are at 403,776 in donations, 415 individual donors. You folks are incredible. Let's keep that number going. We've got 100% match all the way up to $1 million, and I'd love to get to $1 million today. It's probably not going to happen, but hey, a man can dream. And it could be amazing. Go to inforindiana.com. And you can make the donation right there. 0% site fee. All of your money, 100% of it, goes right to this initiative and is going to get right to the athletes here at IU. So, Kara, again, thank you so much. Kara Adams from IUS TV and the Hoosier Network and Big Ten Plus and everything. Austin Render, Jared Morris. We'd like to thank Emily Fox and Emma Watson, who have been behind the scenes pushing all the buttons and making everything go for us. Thank you, ladies, so much for all you've done throughout the course of the day. We'll take a break, come back at 7:05. You'll hear from Jalen Lucas and Matthew Bedford, and then you'll have the full cavalcade of stars coming up after that. I'm Galen Clavio. We'll catch you folks then. Have a good one.